it's now time to move on to our next presentation, which will be given by Raphaël Bardet from Ahlstrom Munksjo. Raphaël Bardet is head of the business at Ahlstrom Munksjo, which is one of the world's leading players in sustainable and innovative fiber solutions. Among his current responsibilities is the business management and development of fiber-based solutions dedicated to sustainable food packaging applications used in everyday life. Raphaël mainly focuses on solutions contributing to replace non-renewable materials. For instance, he was recently involved in product launch such as new paper straws materials or compostable lidding solutions for single-serve capsules. Raphaël has a Master of Science degree in paper making and a PhD in bio-based nanomaterials from Grenoble Institute of Technology in France. He has more than 10 years of experience in the field of sustainable solutions, with expertise both in the business and technical fields, in particular in product development and innovations. Raphaël, the floor is yours.
So thank you very much, Caroline. I really hope that you hear me. If I not receive any sign of life, I consider that everyone could hear me. So really great pleasure that I'm speaking to you, to this audience in this particular, I will say, new way of working and way of presenting things. So I would like to discuss and present you how in Ahlstrom Munksjo we think fiber-based solution support and will support the move to more sustainable packaging. Please, next slide. So I will just, for those who are not familiar with our company, I just want to share with you some facts. So in nutshell, so leader in fiber-based solution and specialty paper, 8,000 employees working in more than 45 plants. And we are operating worldwide, but we have major footprint in Europe, of course, and also in US. And now we are expanding in South America and China. Next slide, please. So just to share with you also about our R&D capability, because it's pretty unique in the industrial world. So we have really two world-class R&D center. Where all the scientific team collaborate, and the unique fact is that our team are serving various business, but bringing all the scientists together is really unique to create synergy. And I think that's the way I'm really pleased to have these two facilities together, because we can really collaborate together. So I just share that we are working in product development in those R&D center, technical assistance, but also I think in the scope of Sherpack is also we are developing new technology platform. And I can just share a number that we estimate that we generate around 10 to 15% of net sales with a new product that we are launching in the market. Next slide, please. And here it's really a nice picture, because I think sometimes we forget to see what is the final life of our product and how they look. But what we produce in Ahlstrom Munksjo is really part of our everyday life. And as a fact, we are using more than 94% of natural raw material in our product. And I think this is really more likely during this morning you have been touched or in contact with one of our products. We produce. Our product range is touching advanced application, so like filtration for air and oil for transportation, medical and healthcare. So during this situation, we are also supporting, I will say, our consumer. Or everyday applications, such as paper material, deco paper, fine art, tea bag, coffee capsule, filter, and any kind of flexible food packaging. And next slide, please. So my idea is really to present you 5 recent innovations. So it's that could greatly contribute to a more sustainable packaging environment. And I really want to introduce a solution that they are already existing on the market, or we have launched really recently. And the message I want to address to the audience is that we are working I would say, forefront innovation, really advanced innovation, but we need to keep in mind that the market, the paper industry, and in particular in Ahlstrom Munksjo, we already have existing solutions that could help brand owner converter to reduce the amount of plastic and non-renewable material they use. Next slide, please. So this one is really an important slide because it's is really how in Ahlstrom Munksjo what is our innovation roadmap to create sustainable, flexible packaging. And in fact, we have established five pillars, and in which that are, I would say, the must-have, our requirements. So the first pillar, it's something for me. It's really important because at this stage, the industry is really focusing on the end of life of our product. But in my view, we should not, I would say, keep the focus also on the raw materials we are using. So not only the fiber, but any kind of additive, the chemistry. And we really need to make sure we keep also good tracking on using sustainability source fiber and really green chemicals if we want to design sustainable, flexible packaging. The second pillar is about what we are really intent to do when we replace plastic material or barrier material is really the functionalization. And we really need to recognize something is that plastic is probably the best barrier material for food packaging, for flexible packaging, if we exclude the sustainability solution. So what we need to do and to propose an alternative to plastic or over any kind of material is we need to functionalize our paper because let's face it, paper is not barrier to gas or any moisture, is not saleable. So the real key message is that providing functions to our base paper is key. In my view, we should not target to reach an equivalent barrier to PET. We really need to understand the requirements of a packaging and then convert it into requirement in 10 years. But the biggest mistake in my view is really to target to have an equivalent barrier properties to a given material. So the fourth pillar is really also something important. It is about compliance to the safety and to health regulation. What's really happening is that as now brand owners are really accelerating the switch from plastic to paper, from any kind of material to paper. Sometimes the compliance to the regulation does not match with the packaging requirement, and that's something we really need to work also with institution and with governments to adapt the regulations to make sure it will work, because paper is completely different animal than plastic, and sometimes the requirement for the food contact compliance, any kind of compliance, are not matching with the requirement for plastic. The fourth pillar is about end of life optimization. I will speak this more in detail on the next slide. But the five pillar, and I think from so can you go back? The last one is about we are really, I will say, challenging to increase the amount of recyclability in packaging. But what we should also keep a strong focus, and we are trying to educate also brand owner, is we need to promote lightweight solution and not focus on the ultimate recyclability rate because it's not making any sense. So we need to increase the amount of fiber, but we also reduce the weight of the packaging by developing sustainable solution. So now, next slide. Olin, please. So this is how position in terms of the end of life scenario. Consumer brand owners are really pushing for more recyclability. I think each day we have something about that. And we really need to move from linear economy to circular economy. And we support this. This is really important. But we also need to recognize that recyclability in some case, and it will be not the only route, for circular economy, and we need to think about we need to consider in the development of packaging any kind of end-of-life scenario. And a message is that in some cases, the industrial composting is the best for packaging. Sometimes it would be recycling. Sometimes you don't have not option, so you will still need to keep incineration. But it's really important that we understand that recyclability is one key pillar for end of life. It also exists other way to improve circular economy. And next slide, please. So what I want to present you is kind of five innovation that we put on the market recently in Ahlstrom Munksjo. Some of them are not really considering barrier, but they are essential innovation if you want to propose a sustainable barrier packaging. And I will start with this example, which we call fluoro-free. Because it's really how we act and anticipate the food safety regulation. I speak that before. For instance, you have there is a lot of grease-resistant paper on market, and I think all of you know that now fluorochemistry will be banned in Europe. It's already banned in US. And for some packaging, you need to have a grease-resistant properties, this kind of barrier properties. But if you are developing, if you are trying to promoting a paper solution, but at the end it contains potential chemicals that there is restriction to use in a coming month, it's not making any sense. So that's the reason why we are also trying to be really, I would say, to really push this kind of innovations, to really understand what will be the regulation. To help brand owners to have a solution ready. So that's what we have done with by developing this solution. So basically, we get rid of the fluorochemistry used in our paper, and we have been replaced this material with a bio-based coating and also optimize the process. So it's really something that it's quite also important to keep in mind. So not only replacing paper to plastic, but also to think about which the kind of chemistry you are using. Next slide, please. So this innovation or this product that we have developed is really something to design compostable and recyclable food tray and molded container. So I think all of you, when you go to the supermarket and you are buying some fresh ready meals, you will see this wonderful plastic container, which are not recyclable at all. And what we have developed is really an alternative to replace aluminum and plastic, or even paperboard laminated with PE. And we really have the capability to customize this solution with some color, so we can replace black plastic tray. And this biggest solution is that we can use that material for freezer to oven or microwave. And after use, you can just take it and put it in the recyclable stream, or you can also compost it. So this is huge, I will say, market. We are targeting supermarket, bakery store, but we are, and that was before COVID situation, but we also want to explore that for airline catering. So that's really something I'm quite we are quite proud of this development, because it's really a solution really replacing 100% plastic with 100% paper. So the other technology, and please go to next slide. It's something also that is not a new product, because I think for those who are familiar with transparent paper, it's something that was existing in the past, that was a material that was used for transparent paper, but we have really revived this product in Ahlstrom Munksjo to really propose an alternative to transparent window. So we have a transparent paper that can be used for window bags, window container, and it's still paper. So you can create all paper packaging, and then you can combine to a kind of barrier treatment, to a heat sealable treatment, and you have a kind of alternative to a real plastic, I would say a real window. So one of the biggest benefits is that if you want to have a sustainable alternative to replace plastic or even bioplastic, because despite the clear advantage of bioplastic, the challenge is how a consumer can differentiate plastic window with a bioplastic window. It's almost impossible. And here you have a solution, and I think for brand owner is quite important, is that it will still look to paper, but you will have the transparent feature. So, and for those paper, for this paper category, we are not using any kind of chemistry. It's just, I will say, fiber technology and know-how, and you can recycle it and you can compost it. Please go to next slide. So this one also is quite a bit far from barrier properties, but it was really something we are really proud because we have launched this solution, and that was a quick win for the industry. When I say quick win, it was not easy. I'm not saying that was easy, but it was really a quick win to how the paper industry can really find, I would say, really pragmatic solutions to the use of plastic straw. Basically, we designed this product, and we have been able really in quick time with the support of converter and adhesive supplier to really design a paper straw. And now when you see a paper straw on the market, it's really big standard, and the industry have been really reactive to design this kind of solution. And I will say in a really short period of time, we have been able to replace thousands of tons of plastic with paper solution, which are recyclable and compostable. So thinking about how the paper industry can replace plastic, we also need to think about where in packaging there is plastic that they are not necessarily used for barrier, but a paper solution can replace the material. So here it's something also we have been we are still working on it, but we have on the shelf. Next slide, please. Okay, so now we are really moving to, I will say, a more advanced solution we have developed. Is that we have developed a product which is called Pure Barrier. It's a real oxygen and gas barrier material made of 100% cellulose. So this is really the most recent innovation we have done. Our R&D team have developed really something outstanding because no coating is used, only wood pulp and technology. And this is really, we are reaching barrier properties that they are, for those involved in nanocellulose, we are reaching properties that are even better than what we can get with nanocellulose for equivalent basis weight. So it's really something we want to develop and we want to extend for barrier technology. We still have a challenge is how to replace plastic, is how we can get the heat solubility, but we are combining this technology with a biopolymer, and we are able to make a kind of a heat seal leading solution. And for instance, if you are drinking some single serve coffee capsule, that they are compostable, it's more likely that the leading solution is made by us. So this is something we want to now to extend. We believe that we will need also the support of the rest of the value chain to bring some functionalization on it. But the base material is really providing outstanding barrier properties. So next slide, please. I hope I'm not running late in time. So my key message, and it's really what we want to, I would say, to elaborate, is how we can get barrier properties, how we can replace plastic material. I think we need to have a differentiate agenda because we have really short-term, I would say, solution, the quick win, that's where you can easily replace paper with plastic, for instance, a straw, easily done, and you don't need, I would say, 10 years of development. And then that's for I would say, we also need to be, to not create too much expectation on what we will not find all-in solution for all barrier and all packaging. So it will require to really work with converter and brand owner to make some fine-tune development. That's what we are doing now. We are now working a lot also functionalization with MDTR. That will be the next challenge. But it's really something we believe that we need to collaborate together. The time that the paper industry was thinking to have, I would say, each own solution by itself is, in my view, really challenging. So what we need to work is really to create a consortium with paper industry, even raw material supplier, converter, and brand owner. And it's really the way to find solution. And I think we need to think about the second generation of packaging and innovation. And that's the reason why we are active in the Sherpack project and any, I would say, development project, because we really need to have a long-term innovation. And this will require time. And in my view, it's not about incremental innovation. We really need to go further. So next slide. So here it's a kind of how I think we can really create something is about what I would call hybridation. So my view is that to replace a monomaterial packaging by a packaging, you really need to create a kind of to combine different base paper or compostable substrates to design a functional material. I really think that having a unique monomaterial is impossible to match with all the requirements to barrier we have. For instance, the leading solution we have developed, we are bringing some functional, each substrate are bringing some functional barrier. And then after that, when you combine this, you really create advanced material. But I really think that the industry needs to think about doing more of that in the future. So I present this a case of the leading solution, but we can have other application. Over question. Next slide, please. So here I think the team will really continue to investigate, but it's really the case. If you want to be successful, you need to have consortium. You need to involve different persons in the value chain, and from cradle to the grave. I really think that is how to be successful, and I will be really pleased you will learn more about that. That's, I think, all. It's coming to the last slide. So I just want to share some number, because it's also important to walk the talk, because I'm presenting a lot of things. So I will just give you some number. We estimate that last year we have produced we have been supply is equivalent to 15 million of compostable and recyclable tray. So it's not a big number, but it's in terms of term, it's just meaning that we are starting already in Ahlstrom Munksjo to help the industry to reduce amount of plastic. We assume that regarding fluoro-free paper, we will be in positions to get rid, to phase out 75% of our flexible packaging contain fluoro-treated paper. Regarding window bags, we estimate that we have supplied the equivalent of 500 million window bags or window containers, so it's starting to be a big number. And target is really to extend the capacity by 4. Leading solution, we estimate that we have supplied the equivalent of 300 million coffee capsule. And when you know the exact number, it's, I think, on annual basis, it's between 40 to 50 billion capsules. So we are still far to replace everything, but we have really the ambition to grow. And please continue to support the move to compostable coffee capsule. And by the end of the year, we estimate that we will have supplies equivalent to 1 billion of straw. So it's starting to be a big number, and we have really the projection, if the market is still there, to increase the capacity by a factor of 7 of 10 without the next 2 years. So this just gives you an idea how we can support the move to more sustainable packaging. We have immediate solution, or we have a part of the solution that will be really pleased, I will say, to collaborate and to with anyone in the industry to design final packaging. But we are really here to support the industry, converter, brand owner, and we really want to create something which is truly sustainable and no greenwashing in Ahlstrom Munksjo. And we are really convinced that is only the beginning of a long, exciting journey. So I really hope that you have a good overview of what we can do. And if you have any question, I'm pleased to answer you, or you can contact me by mail. Thank you very much.